With the abolition of the death penalty, prisons are overflowing across the globe. Inmates are sent to a remote, frozen island to survive on their own. But chaos and violence soon erupt. The movie begins with Zillan, a man sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder of 6 people. One day, the prison governor gathers the inmates to inform them of a new project that will transfer them to a remote prison. The prisoners, unsure of what awaits them, are herded onto a ship. Each prisoner is locked in a separate cell, and as the ship sails, panic spreads. Whispers circulate that the authorities plan to kill them at sea. Fear and uncertainty escalate, and fights break out among the inmates, forcing guards to intervene with gunfire and sleeping gas to subdue the chaos. After a tense journey, the ship arrives at a deserted island. Here, the prisoners are assigned numbers on their handcuffs. Mr. Ozan and Marta, leaders of the Terra Nova Project, reveal that with most countries abolishing the death penalty, prisons are overcrowded, leaving governments to seek alternative solutions. The Terra Nova Project was created to make prisoners self-sustaining captives. They are given food supplies to last 3 months and are monitored via satellite. They can make requests using a red button communication system in the sea. If the light turns green, their request is approved. Marta also informs them they can leave the project by stating their name and reason through the communication system, at which point they will be returned to their previous prison. Before leaving, the guards toss a pile of handcuff keys on the ground, causing chaos as prisoners scramble to retrieve theirs. A gang among the prisoners, led by Ozan, seizes weapons left behind by the guards and begins attacking others. Violence breaks out, and many inmates are killed. Others, desperate to escape, attempt to swim to the communication system, but are overwhelmed by strong waves and drown. The survivors gather at the food storage area to secure supplies, but Zillan quietly takes a jacket, collects essentials, and slips away. Zillan finds a small shelter and sits down, pulling out a picture of his family. Overwhelmed by grief, he cries himself to sleep. Later, he wakes to the sound of rats infesting his food. As it begins to rain, he moves to a more secure spot under a rock and lights a fire to warm himself and heat water. Once the rain stops, he hunts a bird and cooks it. As he eats, another prisoner named Sepa approaches him, offering salt to enhance the flavor of the food, and Zillan shares the meal with him. During their conversation, Sepa asks Zillan why he continues to endure such misery. Zillan confides that his entire family died in a plane crash, leaving him alone. His only wish is to be buried beside them, and dying on the island would mean that wish remains unfulfilled. The two form a bond and decide to explore the island together. During their search, they discover fragments of an airplane. Further exploration reveals a larger portion of the aircraft, sparking hope in Zillan, who was once a pilot. However, survival remains challenging. To stay warm, they plan to steal coal from the base, now controlled by Ozan's gang. Ozan has established dominance, restricting other prisoners' movements and holding them captive. Zillan and Sepa manage to steal coal, but as they warm themselves, they witness Ozan's men dragging a prisoner away to cook and eat him. Sepa hid behind a rock, but Zillan, still asleep, was caught by Ozan's men. Sepa tried to pull Zillan to safety, but they were both captured and taken back to the base. Back at the base, Zillan and the other prisoners are forced to obey Ozan's orders. During a confrontation, the prisoners devise an escape plan. On a forced walk, they attack Ozan's gang, throwing rocks and seizing the opportunity to fight back. Zillan negotiates with Ozan, offering to reveal the airplane's location if he grants access to the communication system for a food request, which Ozan agrees to. After they leave on a boat, Ozan learns that Zillan had been a pilot, and that his entire family had died in a plane crash, leaving Zillan deeply scarred. Ozan suspected Zillan might be delusional about the airplane and decided to break the deal and ordered the prisoners to return to their restricted area. Zillan and his group reach the communication system, only to find it broken. They return to the base, and Zillan lies to Ozan, claiming their request was sent and food will arrive soon. When the green light doesn't activate, Ozan grows suspicious. Amid the tension, Tulia stabs Obezian and kills him. With their leader gone, Zillan's group overpowers the rest of the gang. Zillan assumes leadership, declaring an end to violence among the prisoners. He organizes efforts to repair the airplane and gather supplies. The group follows him to the airplane, overwhelmed with joy upon seeing it. Their celebration is short-lived as Marta and her guards arrive, using tear gas to disperse the group. Zillan is isolated and interrogated by Marta, who questions the need for fuel. Zillan cleverly lies, saying it's for generators, hiding his plan to use it for the plane. After acquiring the necessary supplies, Zillan quickly refueled the plane. Fortunately, the aircraft was still in working condition. Meanwhile, the project leader sends a group of American prisoners to act as guards. Zillan tried to make peace with their leader, but the man attacked him without warning, sparking a violent fight between the two groups. Seppa managed to save Zillan, dragging him to safety. Together, Zillan's group managed to kill the American leader, but the fighting intensified, and the project leaders monitored the situation closely. When they realized over 40% of the prisoners were dead, they activated a protocol called Naked Island, launching heavy bombings to wipe out the survivors. Amid the devastation, Zillan, Seppa, Arnoff, and Tulia manage to escape and reach the airplane. As they prepare for takeoff, Seppa bids farewell and jumps off the rocks. The remaining crew board the plane and Zillan successfully pilots it. As they flew, guards began firing at the aircraft. Despite Zillan's efforts to maneuver away from the attacks, both Arnoff and Tulia were killed in gunfire. Zillan was the only one to survive and managed to escape the island alone.